everyone. Sergio Prieto from Queens Capital Mortgage here in Colorado Springs. I am here with Erik Galloway from the Galloway Group here in Colorado Springs as well, realtor. We're going to have a conversation about where he came from, what's got him into the business, and what he's looking forward for 2026. Erik, thanks for joining me.
Bro, you were so professional.
Oh, thanks.
I love it.
Thank you, man. Hey, I get some of that rubs off from you. I watch your videos.
My talking head videos.
Your talking head videos, your videos on properties. You know, we see what you're doing, right? So when I'm trying to be, interview somebody or maybe do some videos or podcasts, I lean heavily on those people that are close to me that are doing videos like you.
Yeah.
Uriah, a couple other people that we know, right? Because this is like all kind of new to me. I know I feel somewhat natural. I think it's just because I can talk.
Yeah.
And I can just get through that. But tell everybody who you are and, just go ahead and start and we'll get started on some questions.
Yeah. So, as you said, my name's Erik Galloway. Been in real estate for the last 5 years. But one of the things we talked about even prior to this thing was this conversation. Our conversations are going to be much bigger than real estate. So if you know me just from real estate, you're about to, and especially from those videos, you're going to see an entirely different side to me today. So been here in Colorado Springs since 2008. Prior to that, born and raised in California, was born in East Los Angeles in the city of Commerce. Moved out to Chino, grew up there for my high school years, and then got an opportunity to come out here in 2007, and I fell in love with this place. It was affordable. California is expensive. I already had a kid and then one on the way. So when we came out and visited, my wife was pregnant. And so I was just like, man, this is opportunity out here. It's beautiful. And so we came out in '08. And at that time, I took a job as a youth pastor. So I was a pastor for 12 years. And a lot of people don't know that aspect. Took a job at a church here. Did that for 5 years. When that ended, we decided we wanted to go back to California. Man, that was a shit show. Lost everything. And we get asked, we'll talk about that more in a little bit, but eventually came back out here the end of 2015. And now I've been back 10 years now.
Yeah. Amazing. So let's talk about your time in California. So growing up, right? So you said you were East LA.
Yep.
That's where you were born. And then you moved to Chino.
Yeah.
When did that happen? Was that adolescence?
From the time that I can remember, my parents had already split. My dad, which is a crazy fucking story and miracle, got full custody of me. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know what the courts were thinking because my mom funded my whole financial life. He just happened to be at home. Okay. And so growing up with my dad was kind of wild because he was an alcoholic and he was a former Marine, and those two things mixed in a real violent way. So growing up, he made me fight every day. From kindergarten on, he would make me fight after school.
Fight other kids?
Fight other kids.
Okay.
So much so that I just started loving fighting, man. We would get orange peels and fucking use them as mouthpieces. And we would scrap in the front yard of the apartments with the other little apartment kids. And so I saw a lot of stuff and had a lot of stuff happen to me that was really, really difficult. Abuse, molestation, which is not really like uncommon. A lot of people experience these kind of things. And then 2 weeks before my 7th birthday, my dad was murdered. And that's what took me out to Chino.
Okay.
To go live with my mom. And that was a huge shift because my mom had married my stepdad, but he's actually the person I think of as my dad. Married my dad, and they were just entirely different, stable, kind. Yeah, man, it was a shock.
You were 7.
I was 7.
Was there? You're so young at that moment in time, so you're like impressionable. You're gonna pick up, bad things, good things, whatever's in your environment at the time. So when the shift happened and you're now in a more stable family situation, was there a period, did it take some time for you to adjust to leaving that situation that you only knew that was not good
Yeah.
to something that was really good?
Uh, y- y- yes and no. So I had nightmares for years. When I got over to my mom and dad's house, and those nightmares lasted, like I said, a couple years. But because of the stability and the love, like it was chill, right? But
Hmm.
you can't just have a bunch of trauma happen to you, it not be addressed, and expect that it's going to go away and not present itself at some point. So I've always been academically a smart kid. Test taking's easy for me. Memorization,
Hmm.
not so much anymore as I get a little older, but was easy at that time. So I did very well in school. And then I hit middle school. And when I hit middle school is when all the shit started to come back up and back around. So from middle school to the end of high school, dude, I was a fucking nightmare. Um, and my poor mom, like shit. My mom sees all my stuff, so she's gonna see this.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. I love you, and she knows we've had a lot of conversations, but I was a nightmare, bro, from those ages on. Mm.
Yeah, so it was so you did move to Chino. Uh, although the stability was there, there's still outside influence.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
assuming,
oh yeah,
right? And because I was in the inner city too, so I kind of understand what you're talking about. So yeah, stable at home, but outside the home, friends, you know, thinking things are cool or whatever, and then you start maybe going down the wrong path. That's what it sounds like.
yeah.
Probably some fighting too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And so when you're, my mom did a really good job of shielding me from who my dad was and the things that he did that me at 6 and 5 and 6 didn't really know the outside factors. I just knew that was my dad, but fuck, man, I was afraid of him. Um, but he's my dad, right? So I didn't know a lot of the outside factors of who he was on top of that. And she did a great job of never ever um, bashing him to me. So he stayed, oddly enough, he stayed the person that I wanted to be like, not knowing.
I understand. And
Yeah,
plus, she's not bashing him.
right.
Yep.
And so yeah, man, I wanted to be. We would go to the liquor store, bro, and this fucking guy would get into fights right there and just tell me, hey, just stay over here. And I'd be watching through the glass. He'd be fucking scrapping in the liquor store parking lot,
Jesus.
like crazy shit. So
Dude.
so growing up, I wanted to be fucking a badass too, right? So I stayed in some sort of combat sport. I stayed. Wrestling became a great outlet. And then once I learned how to grab hold of people, it was game over. Like we were having fun. So yeah, that's kind of how. And then I naturally gravitated towards, and especially too, you got to remember. So this is early '90s when I'm in middle school. We're talking about like 90, 91, 92. Um, you have the LA riots that just took place.
Yes.
So you have a really racially intense atmosphere where
Yes.
I grew up. So naturally I gravitated towards other people that look like me. And these were neighborhood kids. These were guys that were running the streets, and I wanted to join right in.
Yep.
So
It, so that's like I have a I really understand what you're talking about. So and then you make friends with these people, and even though you might know that these things are not good, you don't want to alienate yourself from these friends that actually protect you in that neighborhood, in that atmosphere, right? Yeah.
yeah, and I'll be honest too. My moral compass at that age was not great.
Okay.
At that age, I was very much, uh, yeah, it wasn't good. I wasn't like inwardly battling. I was like, let's fucking do some stupid shit.
Oh wow.
Um, and there were limits to that. So let me say that as well. But it wasn't this like inward battle that some other people might have.
Yeah.
I was stupid and I was about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear it, man. I hear it. So okay. So you get through that, and You finished high school. I mean, you finished high school on time.
Did finish high school on time.
So
Yep.
everything academic was great. It's just outside of school.
Yeah. Well, I did. I got kicked out of school for a year.
Okay.
I was smoking weed across the street, and it was some fucking good weed, and I didn't even know where the fuck I was at.
Oh
And
man.
the my friends had already left to go back. I was finishing the roach, and this officer just walked up right behind me. Didn't even know he was there, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, I'm in trouble. So I got kicked out of school for a year for that.
Damn.
And that actually helped me to reorient because it caused me to lose the one thing that I really did care about, and that was wrestling. I couldn't wrestle. I lost a whole year.
Oh man. I got you.
And so when I came back, I was determined. Okay, I'm putting this aside during this time of the year because I loved wrestling more than the partying's going to be there. So
Yeah.
I'll come back to that when it's done, when wrestling's done. So got kicked out of school. Then some other stuff. We had a bunch of stuff going on at the same time. We were caught up in this. I used to sell drugs, and we got caught up in this full-on SWAT team raid.
Oh
And
man.
one other thing happened, and my mom was like, "We're out of here. We're moving." And
Okay.
so she moved the family to Covina, which is where my stepdad is from. And I didn't want to go, so I fought to stay in school back in Chino because I was already I think a June, like middle or late junior year going into senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So I fought to stay, um, but that didn't help my situation because on the weekends and I was just staying with friends, and freely
No,
just
no
out,
supervision.
no supervision, just freely out. And again, my poor mom, I'm sure she knows this now, but
Yeah.
I would say I was somewhere else, and we didn't have no tracking at that time.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Well, once a certain hour is done, we're out.
And at that time, a teenager's dream.
Oh, oh yeah,
Teenager's dream.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking like 93, 4 time.
And then all the way through to 97.
97 is when you
Yeah, yeah,
graduated.
all the way through to 97.
Yep.
And so just partying, just running amok, and then I had a friend of mine. He's like, "Hey, why don't you go to church with me?" And at the time, I was like, I don't want to go fucking church. Like this, that's boring. Why do I want to go to church?" And he's like, "There's a bunch of girls there," and I was like, "Okay, well let's give this thing a try. Let's go to church." And went to youth group, and there was this one youth group had people come in from all different cities. And so you walk in, and it wasn't only me. Like there was a bunch of fucking knuckleheads at this youth group with a head on a swivel because there were so many kids there, right? And so he invited me to this church thing, and I remember the first one I ever went to. The guy was talking out of First Corinthians, and he starts naming off this list of sins and don't be deceived. Those who practice these things will not inherit the kingdom of God. And I like that was like a checklist, bro, because I was everything. I was like, oh shit, I think I'm going to hell. And
How old are you at this time?
I'm about 16, 17 at this
Okay.
time. So I think I'm going to hell. So I left pissed off, like fucking guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But something stuck with me. And the things that we were involved in and the things that we were doing, they were kind of running their course as far as being fun. Now they were starting to have a lot of consequences, and there was this particular night where it all kind of came to a head. And I remember I I took one for the team, and when that was over, I went into my friend's living room. He had a bean bag, and I curled up on that bean bag. Mind you, I'm 16, 17, and like a child, bro,
Mm-hmm.
and just felt like shit.
Okay.
And the next day, I called my friend and said, "Hey, when is that church? When do you go? When do you go to that church thing again? I want to go to that." And so he told me, and then we went the next week. And I remember going up there, and this is pivotal too to my life story. What I'm about to say next. I remember going up there, and I remember I don't know what he said. I didn't even care. I didn't know who was there. I was there for one thing. I remembered at the end they gave people an opportunity to come, and they call them altar calls, right? They give
Mm-hmm.
people an opportunity to come and accept Jesus Christ into your life. And I went up there, and I remember my prayer was, I don't know if I could change doing X, Y, and Z. I don't even know if I want to, but I don't want to go to hell. And so if you can change me, change me. And the reason why I say that's really pivotal is because when I look back now, 30 something years, I realize that a lot of that religious experience was based on fear. Same fucking fear I had of people and my dad and all this,
Hmm.
the same thing. Um, but but it was at that point I was introduced to evangelical Christianity, and next couple of years I went back and forth to party, come home, read the Bible super late, all fucking high, and I did that for like 2 years. I legitimately would come home high as fuck, and I would read the Bible, and I'd be like, "This is crazy shit."
Yeah.
Like, so I by the time I got to 19, I was in between these two worlds, going to church on Sunday, and I was feeling like total shit because I'm hearing that I'm going to hell all over again.
Right.
And then I'd be with my friends on the weekday who I loved. I grew up with these people. We had each other's back in a serious way, and I had to make a decision. And I chose to kind of jump in over here with Christianity.
Easy or hard?
Oh, hard,
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, absolutely hard.
Did you completely like cut off that?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
did you say anything? Like, hey guys, this is
I
it?
I did. I told my friends. I remember the day that it happened too. We were coming from Whittier. If you're familiar with California, Whittier, it's kind of right outside of
Whittier?
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So we're coming from Whittier, and they were dropping me off at my house in Covina at that time. And they're like, "All right, we're gonna be back to pick you up. We're gonna go out." I forgot what we were doing that night, but another party or something. And all the way home on that drive from Whittier to Covina, I'm having this inward battle. Like, fuck, I can't. I don't want to go out. This stuff needs to stop. And I'm just in the backseat processing this all. So when they drop me off, all right, we'll be back to pick you up later. And I'm like, nah, I can't go. Like, I don't want to go. What do you mean? Like, I said, and they knew. My close friends knew what I had been struggling with. They kind of knew the back and forth. Like we were tight that way. And so I said, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep going out with y'all. Like I feel like a hypocrite. Like I feel torn. And being the friends that they were, they're like, nah, if we see you drinking, we'll just slap it out of your hand. They're trying to
Hmm.
keep that relationship, which I appreciate and still love some of these guys to this day. But I was like, no, I can't. And I remember going back inside, and I could say it now because I'm not 19, and I remember crying.
Hmm.
I was crying in my room, and probably for the next probably month and a half, when the weekends would come around, I would be at home struggling, just wanting to be out, but
Right.
not wanting to keep in this shame cycle, which is what I come to understand that it was. Um, and so that was some tough stuff. But then I started to jump in and get involved with my church, and then things started to shift.
So going into becoming a youth pastor, it happened right after that, like right at 19, 20 years old.
So at 21, I was made the youth pastor at this particular church, which was far too young, far too young, you know, and the reality was, you don't just go from struggling with real things to all of a sudden, oh, now like I'm not doing anything. That's not how it worked.
Yeah.
I just learned to hide shit better. And so mind you though, I could speak well, and I knew the Bible because I had been reading it high as fuck from 16 years old, 17 years old to the present day. So I've read through the Bible multiple times. So I could speak it, I could teach it, I could explain it, and all of that in a system where show is really important. I'm your guy. You put me up in front of people,
Yeah.
you're gonna be okay listening to me. So yeah, 21. I'm a youth pastor there in Southern California. Did that for 7 years, working bivocationally, delivering water. I did all kinds of stuff. Worked for Razor Scooters. Remember little Razor Scooters?
Hmm.
I worked for them as a manager of a shipping warehouse. I delivered water. I did. mortgage, cold calling mortgage refinances before the bubble burst,
Yeah.
when we were on the way up. I was calling on that. I did all kinds of stuff. I worked for Naked Juice, delivering juice to markets,
Yeah.
all the while being a youth pastor. Um, but uh, I still had so much stuff that was unresolved,
Yes.
not dealt with, and so um, I was ultimately headed for a crash in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're into like kind of where we talked about earlier, '07, right? You're 20, and '07 you're like 27,
27.
right? 27, 28-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So '07 is when you came here,
Mm-hmm.
saw that, wow, this is a great place, affordable, it's beautiful, mountains, the whole thing.
Yep.
You go back to California, as you said earlier, wasn't working out, and then it was '08 when you came. Is that right?
Yeah. So when I came out in '07, I came out to interview for the job of a youth pastor here in town.
Yeah.
And I, I I remember when I got back to California, they made the offer, the financial offer, and it was probably at that time $27,000 a year less than I was making.
Less.
Less,
Okay. To
but
come here.
to come here.
Got it.
But because that was my at that point now that was my dream. I wanted to work at a church as a pastor. That was my thing. And so I remember my wife was like, "We can't, like, we're barely making it. We can't take that." And I'm like, "We're just gonna trust God." And we did. We came out, and we're making chump change for quite a while, struggling. I remember the big deal was Applebee's 2 for $20. Bro, that was date night right there. That was like, oh, we in it today. We're
Applebee's two for
celebrating
20.
2 for 20, and so we did that for years, dude, for years, and did a lot of great things. Made a lot of great relationships in those 5 years that I was at that church. I still have kids that I'll keep in touch with, talk to now because they're adults. Um, just had there was a lot of good things to those years, but there was a lot of bad things to those years too that nobody really knew or understood. And one of them was, my relationship with my wife and my kids was pretty kind of separate. I dove into ministry and the work of ministry, and my wife was at home raising our kids, and so I missed some things. I was away for things, um, and what that does is it just teaches you to kind of compartmentalize your life.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was still struggling with some things too. Like I said, you don't go through years of abuse and see the things that I saw, and then all of a sudden you're in church and things are healed. That's unrealistic. I think that's the lie that a lot of people get brought into. You just be in this, be around these people, read, pray, and you're going to be okay. I wholeheartedly disagree with that
Because of your own
because of
experience.
my own experience. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and not
So,
just mine, but
yeah.
a lot of people's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, so you come here, you're the youth pastor,
yeah.
and then so now we're getting into, I guess, like now we're like what,
2012,
2012-ish, right?
2012.
Um, now what did you stop becoming a pastor at that time? And then when did real estate start to become something or an idea for you?
Real estate is still a good, 8 years away. So
Okay.
it wasn't even on my radar. It's 2012. I was asked to resign from the church that I was at. Had some struggles, was questioning a lot of things. Was asked to resign, and it kind of rocked my world. I went through kind of an identity crisis at that time. I ended up selling insurance for a year. Terrible year. Absolutely terrible. I hated my life. I was locked in, the kind of telemarketer type of
Yeah.
insurance sales, right? So if I want to go to the restroom, I got to put in for a break on the computer. Like, everything's timed, everything's metric.
Yeah.
I hated
Like
that
you
year.
have to do so many calls a day
Absolutely.
deal. Yep.
I hated it, bro. I remember be driving home depressed. How did I end up in this place? This is my life. This is terrible. Um, and so it was after that year that we decided to go back to California. We thought, well, we got great friends over there. Their families there. My kids were still small. At that time, my
So you guys went back to California?
yeah, went back to California. Yep,
2012,
2013.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
2013. So, my youngest son is 3 years old. My middle son is 6 years old, and my daughter is about 9 when we go back to California.
Okay.
And when I went back to California, working various jobs, and I thought I had landed this really good one. And so then I took all the money that I'd made from my house being sold here, put it into getting a condo, and 4 months later, that company goes bankrupt. I have nothing, dude. I have no savings. I have nothing.
Oh, the company that you were working for?
Yeah, in California, the one I
Yes.
thought was going to be a good thing.
Oh, man.
So I lose everything, absolutely everything. Have to move in with my father-in-law. I am 34 years old, got 3 kids.
Yeah.
I am feeling like a loser.
Failure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I don't know why it worked out, but I don't know why I said to myself, well, I guess if I've lost everything, I can do anything. And I decided to go into the fitness industry. When I say I don't know why, hindsight's always 2020. Making a lot of money in the fitness industry is not easy. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But that's what I chose. And so we were making our bills thanks to my father-in-law allowing us to stay there. So we never became in debt. And I talk about this before too with this whole like current cultural scenario we're in the United States where, SNAP benefits, people are looked down upon. I was on SNAP benefits, and I was still working every day, longer hours than normal people. 10 hours was normal, just trying to get by, and we were on SNAP benefits. And if it wasn't for those things, we would have been hurting even more.
Right.
Um, so so was working that, doing fitness, and that's actually how I was able to end up coming back here. I saw we wanted to come back, and I saw that Orange Theory was hiring for a coach. Put in for that. They kind of told me, no, we don't have enough classes for you. And then I saw that they were hiring for a manager, so I put in for that, and ended up getting that. And that was a pivotal turning point for my mentality, and even things in business and life.
Being the manager, like that was the thing that was pivotal?
Well, working for the person who I worked for.
Okay. In Orange Theory here in Colorado.
Yes, here in Colorado Springs.
Gotcha.
So we moved back here. I came out here in December of 15 to open the studio, and then my family came January 2016 to join me. And we were living with some friends in their basement for 3 months. Finally, with a steady, consistent job, we found this house that was had been sitting vacant for 5 years. Bought it for 174,000, and so I finally had a home again. For
Yep.
my family after was three or so years.
Yep.
But the woman that I worked for there, her name is Annie Randall. She's since sold those Orange Theories, but she took a real interest in me, and she told me after we'd gotten to know each other better. She says, "Hey, you have a scarcity mindset, and I really want to teach you to have an abundance mindset." And so I remember when she told me that, I was like, "Sorry, Annie." I was like, "Fucking, you have everything, of course." Like, but she challenged me in that way.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I want you to pick a salary you've never made, and I want to help you do it. And I'm like, fuck, easy, 100,000, never made it before. And ultimately, through picking up more studios on the managerial side and coaching, I was able to accomplish that goal. And that was a mental shift for me. That was a mental shift for me, to know that, okay, I can do certain things. I can make certain levels. And so was there for 5 years at Orange Theory. Then COVID hit. We had to close down for 3 months, and the whole illusion of kind of financial security, because I'd wanted to leave earlier, but the illusion of financial security was keeping me there. I got kids, like we're doing well, and I don't got to do Applebee's 2 for $20 no more. Like we're good.
Yeah.
So it kept me there. Then when COVID hit and we shut down and we kind of all took a pay cut, I was at home, like all of us were, right? Kind of resetting in life, and
At that time, it was we didn't know when COVID was going to end at some
No.
point. There was some times we were like, well, when's this going to end?
Yeah. When is this over?
So if you at that time I was in the military, so I didn't have like what you're talking about. I didn't go through.
Yeah.
So but what you're talking about, a lot of people went through.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to put myself in like that family's brain right
Yeah.
there, where there was a moment we were like, is this thing ever gonna end?
It was
Ever?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got that job, that your job at the time is you need to be around people to work. And at that time, the whole world was separated.
Yeah.
You gotta be, I'm thinking, terrified of how are we gonna get out of this? How am I gonna provide for my family at this moment in time too? And it feels like, based on what you said, this is probably like the third or fourth time in like 10 years span, in a nice span of time, that you probably said that to yourself. How am I gonna get through this financially?
Yeah. Yeah.
After making it, after going through that, and then moving back in with your father-in-law, or moving with your father-in-law for a little while, and then we don't have to do Applebee's 2 for 20 anymore. We're doing good at this OrangeTheory, and all of a sudden, boom!
But it's
Now,
gone. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, man, yeah. Talk about that. What was that mindset like?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I wasn't really afraid during that time.
Oh wow.
And I don't know why. I think I was actually just enjoying the rest. I was enjoying being with my kids. I was enjoying the slowdown. Because we still had some money coming in, and mind you, I bought a house for 174,000 at 2%. My mortgage is like I could go work at fucking Walmart and be okay right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I
So
gotcha.
that was really helpful.
Okay.
So as I'm sitting at home and I'm processing, I'm not afraid. I'm actually thinking, okay, what next? And this is when I started to redo my goals, and I said, okay, same question. What do you want to make now? And I immediately was like, I want to make 250,000. And I knew, light bulb, I'm not going to do it here.
Yeah.
So it's time for a switch. And I knew when COVID was going on, I knew this is my last year here. I know it. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to take this jump. And that's where real estate comes into the picture. But I'll be honest, for a lot of people, COVID was really difficult. For that time that we were shut down, it was really needed for me. I needed to slow down, and
Gotcha.
I needed to just be at home. And I learned how to make some really great cocktails, and we were good. I was bartending myself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? The only thing that were open, liquor stores, never closed.
That's right.
We were just fucking all at the liquor store. So that the end of that year is when I gave my notice early. The owner of the company knew I was quitting, but I made it so that I quit 5 years to the day that I had started OrangeTheory.
Okay.
Took the next month to study, jumped into real estate January of 2021.
Amazing.
So 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations for that.
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
So now, did you okay, so you immediately thought about real estate, like, or was there someone that influenced you and like, hey, this is what I do. I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, my first the realtor that I had, who was a friend, but he was my first realtor. His name is Joe Kuchara, and I remember we were at something at his house. Because remember you could have 10 people, like 10 of you
Yeah.
gather with 10 people.
Yeah.
So we're at his house for something, and I started asking about real estate, and he told me, hey, here's your average commission, and in my mind I was like, I just got to sell 10 houses and I'm making over 100,000. Like, that sounds fucking easy.
Oh boy.
I'm like, I'm doing it. Well, it's not easy,
Yeah.
right? But again, whatever my mind.
The math sounds.
Yes, the math sounds great, and whatever my mind needed, like same thing, fitness industry. That sounds like a great idea. It worked out.
Yeah.
So I took the jump, took the exam, and I remember I was waiting for my license to clear, and I already had somebody willing to work with me. So the moment my license cleared, I'm going downtown to pick up a card, a Century Lock card, because I don't even have a Century Lock app or approval yet. I don't know how to show a house. I don't know anything, dude. I am just on the road, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna fake it till we make it. We're gonna wing this and make it happen. Now, mind you, there's no great science to showing a house.
Yeah.
But that's kind of always the mindset that I had, is like, I'm just going to jump in and we're going to make this work.
Yeah.
We're going to make this work. And we've been making it work since that time. And, going back to what you said, thinking about like, how am I going to provide for the family in this? But I've had so many times of that in my life as a, as a husband, as a father, um, and I wish it would go away. Like I wish the ship would roll in and the finances would be set.
Yep.
But it's something even still now.
Yeah.
Like just full transparency. I had a great 2025, but the end of 2025, my last closing was in November. We are now in February, and I won't have a closing until March. Who goes 3, 4 months without a paycheck and is not stressed?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah. You're gonna be stressed a
you're gonna be
little bit.
stressed.
Yeah.
So that's reality, but it's one of those things. You just get up and you figure out how to make it work. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you decide I'm gonna be a realtor, and then so you that buddy Joe Cachara, did you start working with him
No,
at a brokerage?
no, I went over to EXP and was at EXP for 2 years. Then I made a stop at Keller Williams for 9 months. And then I've been with Real for the last uh, coming up on just over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Now Joe and I stay in contact. I call him probably at least once a week.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's been a great friend, mentor in my life. Him and another friend of mine named Mike Rosenhan, who helped us buy our second house. And so we've been friends pre my real estate time,
Yeah.
and they're huge impacts for my business as well.
Right. So you were at EXP, and that's kind of where you learned the ropes, right? And then I remember you went to. I think when we met, you were at Keller Williams.
Yeah.
Or maybe just made the transition, but you were at Keller Williams for a little while, and then moving over to Real. What made you make the move to Real? What happened there?
EXP was great, but I came into EXP 21, 22. These are wild years.
Yeah.
So
Yes. It's
so
busy.
yeah, busy. So I really didn't need to learn all that much apart from how to keep up. And Matt Rotolo, he's still in business here. He was a huge help for me
Yeah.
at EXP. Absolutely huge help in that season. But when I saw the market starting to slow down in July of 22, I remember it specifically. The market was slowing down,
Yeah.
and I knew. I said, "Man, I don't feel like I have tools to perpetuate business the way that I see some of these older established agents perpetuating business." So I started to look around first within EXP, couldn't really find anybody there. And no knock to Matt. Matt, again, I can't speak highly enough about Matt, but Matt is just so charismatic. You meet Matt, you like Matt, you want to work with Matt.
Yeah.
So Matt is not systems heavy. He's personality heavy, and it works for him. He's doing amazing. But I'm not Matt. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make this thing work for me, and that's where Keller Williams kind of came in and sold me on their systems and their processes. And the simple thing I'll say about that season was it was not at all what I thought it was. And I wasn't a good fit for Keller Williams.
Yeah.
The
And the market was tough at
and the
that
market
time.
was tougher. Yes, the
Yeah.
market was we were in the throes of toughness.
Yes.
Um, but I just wasn't a good fit for Keller Williams. Just not my brand, not my people.
Okay.
So at that time, I was like, what does a brokerage really do? Keller Williams is taking this money from me. I want to find a brokerage that's taking nothing from me. So I looked at LPT, because LPT has, certain programs that keep your overhead really low. And I was just about to go there, when another friend of mine who was looking to make a move introduced me to Lana and Brian Rodriguez at
Good
Real.
people.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
Yeah, great people. And I found Real wasn't taking a ton of money from their agents. They still had a sense of community, and they were pretty forward thinking. And it drew me in, and I was like, yeah, this sounds great.
Great. So do you work closely with them, or do you guys like do business together? You guys what's the relationship with Brian and Lana and yourself?
Yeah. So Brian and Lana are people that I go to. I feel like I can go to them and ask them questions, but we still have separate businesses.
Gotcha.
They're running their business. I'm running my business. But they've always been very helpful.
Yeah.
In fact, they bought me little handheld mics when they saw me starting to do more content.
I love that.
And
Yeah, so
and
they saw you doing content and said, let's help this guy out a little
yeah,
bit. Oh, I love it.
yeah,
That's great.
absolutely. So I have a lot of respect for Brian and Lana, and the help that they provided to me. Albeit, um, the amount of help that they provided, because I'm not on their team,
Right.
but I'm super grateful for that, and continue to have a good relationship with them and other agents at Real, because it's a pretty collaborative atmosphere.
I will say this as a mortgage guy, and I'm not joking. When I see a purchase contract and the listing agent is a real, or I got a contract with a real uh, real estate agent from Real, I kind of feel pretty good about it. I know a lot of the guys from Real. I know they have a good team over there. I feel more comfortable when it's from a place that I have some familiarity with.
Yeah.
So I really like that. That's great. That's a great story. Now, now you had a great 2025 as you mentioned.
Hmm.
Now you had mentioned earlier about still struggling, as when you was doing your going through the pastor stuff because of all the trauma from when you were, a lot younger, and then even still, even with real estate being great, even 2025 being great, where are you on in that situation? Where are you there when it comes to still dealing with stuff from your trauma back in the
Oh
past?
yeah.
Are you still dealing? Are you getting help with that? Anything
Yeah.
you want to share with that?
Yeah. So I'm a big advocate of therapy. And I've been in therapy for years. In fact, going back to Orange Theory, um, Annie, the owner of
Yeah.
those, she actually paid for me to go to therapy, and that was the start of my uh, of my time doing some healing work.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll tell you what, man, therapy is difficult. I think I shared this with you when we were
We did.
in
You have.
Detroit. So one of the things that they had me do in therapy is EMDR, and EMDR basically, if I botch this up and you're in the psychological world, I'm sorry, but basically, when you have unresolved trauma, your brain does not know how to think of it as a filing system. Your brain doesn't know how to settle it and file it and put it away so that way it's settled and dealt with. Um, in fact, if you have memories where you are looking at yourself in the third person, that's usually indicative of trauma.
Okay.
So so we did this thing called EMDR, um, for this incident where my dad tried to kill both of us.
Oh boy.
And and I remember going through that session as one of the most painful, and I fought it for a long time. I fought doing it, but one of the most painful scenarios, and at the same time one of the most healing scenarios. And I remember saying like, what is EMDR going to do? This still happened. Nothing's changed. And my therapist couldn't really explain it to me. I can now. It's not so much that you change what happened, you change how you view what happened. And so this is wild, and I figure it's worth sharing. So they have you go into this, and you remember the scenario, and at first when you're there under, they use electromagnetic, or they use counting, or they use light pulse to kind of put your brain in this state. And you remember the incident, and first I remember the incident just like it was, and I came out and I was fucking a mess, just crying. We did that two or three more times, same thing. I'm not seeing anything different. And then whatever number of time it was that we went back in, I'm now an adult and I'm looking at my dad. Now my dad died at 31. Okay, and by the time I'm doing this therapy, I'm older than him. I can't remember, what age I was at that point, but I'm older than him. And so I'm an adult and I'm looking at him now in this memory, in this
Like
space in my
vision.
head. Yes. And I'm asking him, what happened to you? Like what hurt you like this? And I remember sitting down next to him in the backyard that we used to have in Alhambra, right off the 710, where the 710 ends is where our house was. And that's where he tried to kill us both by running into oncoming traffic. I remember sitting in that backyard in this vision, and I'm looking at him, asking him these questions. And I remember giving him a kiss on the forehead, and then we're out. We go back in again, and this time I have my two sons with me, and he's across from me, and we're on the on ramp now. That same on ramp
Hold on a second. In the vision,
in the vision, yeah.
you're on the on ramp
Yes.
that he was running against
Traffic. Yeah.
oncoming traffic
Yeah.
with your two sons.
Yeah. Now
That's the vision.
I'm with my two sons with me, and he's standing across from me on that on ramp.
Whoa.
And I'm telling him in this vision that I can't keep doing this with you.
You tell him I can't
Yeah.
keep doing
I
this.
can't keep doing this with you. And I got my two boys there, and it was really an emotionally powerful thing because in my mind now, I'm putting it to rest because I can't keep, this is over. I have these guys to take care of. And it was so healing, bro. It was so healing. I came home and I called my mom, and I told her all about it because that thing had been plaguing me for among other things, a long time. So so do I still struggle with things? Absolutely. Like you don't go through a lot of damaging things and then spend years kind of burying it for it to just come up and be healed.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I'm still closely linked to going to therapy sessions. I read often and avidly about mental health and about self help and self development. Um, so so yeah, and coming back now full circle to this whole Christian thing, right? And a lot of people they've written me off like I don't believe in anything, and that's the furthest from the truth. My faith has morphed a ton, but it no longer is in relationship to God in a way that is fear based. And I don't have that no more. It's a relationship that's built and based off of love, love for that He has for us, and then that love is supposed to translate to how we deal with and treat others, right? That's what governs a lot of how I live now. Not perfectly by any means, by any means. I'm still a fucking asshole. I still say stupid shit. I still make people mad. I'm still a very flawed human being, um, but we're all working, and I think if we can all give each other space to do that work, we're all going to be better off for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
do. All right. So we're in 2026. You had a great 2025, and I know the start looks like it might be a little bit slow. What do you see for this year? What do you see in the market for Colorado Springs? What do you think is going to happen this year? Like, I know that's a tough question because we don't know
Yeah.
what the future holds, but
Yeah.
you know, seeing how 2025 ended, and you do those market analysis. You know kind of what's going on right now in the market, right? As far as inventory or housing prices, are they leveling off? Are they dropping some? What's your take on those things for 2026?
Yeah. So I mean, we're seeing prices soften. We see that a lot. We're seeing sellers taking sometimes less than ask. We're seeing the houses that are priced aggressively, and when I say aggressively, I mean, they're priced in the eyes of a buyer like a deal,
Yeah,
and they're willing to negotiate. I see those houses are selling. I see the people who are still trying to get the top dollar without having their home in top condition. They're sitting.
yeah,
What this year will hold, I don't know. And because we heard at the end of 24 that 25 was going to be this stellar year. Experts can always be wrong. The one thing I do know is that and this is just indicative of my whole life. You got to figure out how to make it work,
yeah.
right? So, um, that's it. If what I'm doing right now is yielding only this result, okay, how do I do something different to yield a greater
There
result?
you go.
So that's been my mindset is I can't really be concerned with the market because if I'm eyes focused on a negative market, then negativity is going to come out of what I'm saying or how I'm approaching things. So I'm mindful of it so that I can educate people on it. But my eyes are on the fact that people are still going to buy and sell every day.
Yeah.
Houses are going to go under contract or close. You know what I mean? So we just have to figure out how to be the ones that make that happen.
Well, Eric, man, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. I think we are gonna. I am gonna say this. I believe we're gonna have an amazing 2026.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna say it with you.
Yeah, I think we are, right? And I know this is the beginning of something between us. I know this is
Yeah.
going to be a great podcast that we're putting together, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. So just let everybody know how they can contact you if they have any questions about real estate.
Yeah. So you can give me a call. My number, I don't know if we're going to post it, but that's easy to find. You can go to ericgalloway.com. That's my website. Or you can find me on social media where I'm either making somebody mad or talking about real estate or working out or eating something. That's what you're going to find on my social. You can easily find me there. Yeah.
Sounds great. Thanks, Eric.